this lovely Wednesday evening. If you are not in watching this, what the hell are you doing? You're breaking social distancing rules. You should be in the house. Someone's in the pits. Who's in the pits? Obviously it's me. Because I'm there, I'm in spectate mode, and at the moment, that's what we can't see. We can't see the start of the race, but now we can. That's better, isn't it? So obviously we are there. Somebody seemed to start from the pits. Or was that just me? I don't know. Somebody's gone wide. Everybody's gone wide. Everyone's gone everywhere. I haven't really got a clue. But anyway, let's do a little catch up. This is Ruapuna Park, or Ruapuna Park, depending on how you wish to say that. And it is in the wonderful New Zealand. Which begs me to question, where is Zealand? Because if oh dear, there's some serious bumping and grinding going on there. This is like a porn movie from the 70s. There is so much going on. In fact, I need more eyes. I need like 8 eyes, like a spider or something like that, to see everything that's going on. Because there's just so much happening here. I wish I had a better trackside view that could see like the whole of the track, because that'd be really good. Then at least we could see everything that's going on. Anyway. So at the moment we've got Mr. Nico Perez, who is in the lead, although I don't think that'll last. Sorry mate, but I don't think it will. Anyway, Johnny's taking up second place, but he's currently got someone just behind him who's called KC. And at the moment, because they've all got coloured cars, it's going to be really funny. So it's going to be like orange leading from gold, leading from, yeah, you get the drift, don't you? This is going to be quite funny. I'll get used to it, and by the time I get used to it, they'll all change, and something else will happen. But never mind, in the meantime, we are flying around good old Ruapuna Park. We're hoping this is the first of 2 races, so I'll just share some knowledge with you, because I have got some. Not a lot, but I have got some. As we're just watching the leaders there, coming around the... yeah, you probably guessed track limits aren't on. No offence, but I mean, I tried a couple of laps earlier. I've got a broken wheel. I tried a couple of laps earlier with a controller, and I'm pretty rubbish on one, I'm afraid to say. And my lap time was like 1:31, and that was not from a standing start. But the thing I'll say about this is the track temp is pretty early doors. It's not exactly warm here at this time of year, and tyre temps are going to be an issue, because this is on default setting, so people haven't been able to do setups. They haven't been able to take some air pressure out of their tyres to give them a slight better chance of getting heat into them. So it's as you were. You've all got the same setup. What can you do with it? So really it's down to driver ability rather than what can you do with the setup. But there's always going to be somebody who default setup's going to favour. If it favours you, happy days. If it doesn't, tough. So anyway, this is the 15-minute race. This is the short race. And then obviously we go into the feature race. Basically this race every week is going to be reverse championship order. So the idea is, obviously, the best guys get to start last, etc, etc. You can work the rest out. But obviously, in 15 minutes, that gives the top guys a bit of a challenge. Can you get through? Can you get some points on the board? Oh, as we just see. Sorry, Nico. I've just given you the old kiss of death, mate. Sorry. Did I giggle? I shouldn't really. That's really unprofessional, but I don't care. You've spun. You got the trophy for the first spin of today, I think. Anyway, let's go to the leader. Appropriately dressed in gold, looking every inch the rap star. He just needs a few chains and a few diamonds on there to make up the rest of the deal. But he's happily leading with 11 minutes to go. Steadily behind him is somebody in orange who says KC. So I'm guessing in orange that could well be... Who usually goes in orange? I should know who this is. Is that Satis? Is that Satis in orange? It might be. And the wonderful Angie is in 3rd place, showing us all up because she is very, very young. In fact, she's a lot younger than me. In fact, she's old enough to be my granddaughter. That makes me feel great. Thanks, Ange, for being so young, love. But she's a very good racer, and she's in 3rd place and doing herself pretty good justice at the moment. Although Blank File is giving her a bit of hassle here coming into this. Let's jump here and take this angle as he gets the inside line. Was that slightly off track and a bit naughty? that could be one for the stewards, but he paid the penalty for trying to be a bit naughty there, and Angie, as she was entitled to do, got the elbows out and said, "Oi, sod off," or words to that effect. Anyway, she may be young, but she's not tender. She'll give you a slap if you need, and you got one. So that's blank in fourth. In fifth place, we got Melted Dazza, who's in a very, very nice coloured car. It's almost Man City colours, so I'm going to favour that car. So, Dazza, you've got my vote, mate. Let's hope you do well. No favouritism from me. And in sixth place is Mr. Perez, who had a very unfortunate sort of meeting with the grass earlier on. But hopefully for him, he'll have a half-decent race as he kills a cone. That's 25 to life in this state, mate. Dear me. Behind him is Buzzing Hornet, who surprisingly is in a green car. I'd never ever have thought he would be in a green car, never in a million years. In the meantime though, we've got a bit of a fight going on. Sorry Buzz, but we've had to disappear from it. You weren't as exciting as what I'm just watching now, which is Blank trying to have another go at Angie, and that camera angle was rubbish. Come on trackside, sort yourself out a bit. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is this. I hate chase cam, but when you're looking at things like this, it can be quite good fun. You actually get a decent view, or I can sit on Blank's roof, which will probably give him too much downforce because I'm quite heavy. So let's jump back to chase cam. Hope you guys aren't getting sick. Was that a little bit of a love tap there? She's too young to do that with, you naughty boy. I am going to keep it clean, honest. But then again, so anyway, that's the battle there. Angie is holding the line. If she holds the racing line, this is not the easiest of tracks to get past somebody on. You know, at the end of the day, it's about not making a mistake. This track is... It's a good track to race, actually. I quite enjoy Ruapuna Park. It is a nice track to race, but as you can see, it's not the widest. It's not very forgiving. There are plenty of run-off areas of grass, but it really isn't that forgiving. If you want to stay on the racing line, then someone's going to have a hard job trying to get past you, like trying to outbrake you or stuff like that. I don't know whether that was a touch or what. PlayStation physics weren't really that good. But what you need to try and get here is to try and get a good run out of one of the tight corners and try and get... Blank's just getting a bit of slipstream now, but it's a bit too late, I think. Unless Angie opens the door. No, she says, firmly closed in your face, mate. Brakes might lock here. Again, I can't see... I can see what tyres they've got, but I can't see the pressures. I don't think she'll hold him off here now. He's got the inside line, so he's got to run. So what I'll just do there is... jump over to Angie's car, so then we get the same view there. So that's a good pass, well done Blank. That was a nice pass to see. So, but now you're going to have a raving Banshee on your gearbox. That's the word I'm going to use, because I don't think it's appropriate to say young girls will be on your arse. Please feel free to laugh at that if you wish to, although it's sick and you should send yourself away. Meantime, further down the grid we've got Bruce Law on the back of Buzzing Hornet. That would be an interesting picture, wouldn't it? Buzz obviously is hoping to re-find his mojo, and that's not one of those sweets that you used to get years ago for three for a penny, but they were tasty, mind. His mojo is something else. And no, we're not referring to anything naughty. But obviously, good to see him back in the groove. Good to see him back in sort of green, although that's not the green he would have chosen, but it's probably the nearest he can get. It looks like his green's been left in the sun a bit and gone a bit pale. But at the moment, we're more than halfway down. He's just holding off Bruce Law there. I'll tell you what I will do. Shall we put up a race map? Would you like to see one? I can't hear what you're saying, but I'll tell you what, we'll put a speedo up as well. So we'll have a look there. So we must have lost a couple of people there, didn't we? So we lost Mr. Fry and we lost Kev by the look of it. And did we lose Chromedics as well? No, Chromedics is saying he's there. So I'm not sure what happened there anyway. But it's all confusing. This is PlayStation where confusing things do happen. But we try. We do our best, honest. Anyway, that's enough of looking at you, Mr. Law. We're going to go to Melted Dazza, who's on a... who's behind Angela. She's not Angela, she's Angie. She'll probably scold me if I called her Angela. But, hey, I've been called worse, love, don't worry. So, at the moment, she's obviously trying to hold off Melted in his very sky blue car, which is very fetching, as I said earlier. Sorry, am I favouring that car? I don't mean to, honest, really. She's going to do well to hold him off. Again, these cars are quite a brilliant drive. I've got to be fair, I messed around with these a little bit, and they are really good cars. The difficulty here is, like I said before, tyre temps. I know it says in the top, it'll tell me in the top what people are riding on, but it won't tell me their tyre temps. You can kind of see from the colour what's happening there. So that's one good thing you do get, is Melted decided to try and be, what do they call cows in New Zealand? Cows? Is now anyway. So he was going to go and graze on the grass, which gave Angie another sort of 2 or 3 car lengths, but she's locking up the brakes. You could see the puffs of smoke coming from the back there, and it's not because she's now started to have wacky backy or anything like that. We don't condone that sort of thing here, but you can see how their brakes do lock on these cars. It is something that they are prone to do, because of course, as I said before, we're in default settings. So you can't change things to suit yourself, so it is what it is. Like it, lump it, do what you want with it. But it's the same for everybody. Let's jump back a minute with Mr. Law, who's all over the back of Buzz. Sorry for the leaders, but this is where the action is, so to speak, because you've got 2 battles going on, which is probably going to merge into one battle with 4 minutes left, as Buzz decides to take a little bit of a track on this side. Again, it might be outside track limits, but you don't really gain unless you can go faster on the grass than you can on tarmac, and if you can do that, I'm going to bow to you, because you are one hell of a person. So 7, 6, 5 and 4, this is the real battle at the moment. Johnny's got a 2-second lead over number 2, who has, I believe it is, I think in his Mr. Saturday, so I might be wrong, but if I am wrong, oh no, it's Mr. Fry in orange. I thought it said that you weren't there, and I thought you were going to be in purple. Why did I think you were going to be in purple? I don't know. I owe you that one. So apologies there, Mr. Fry Diz, who is in second place trying to chase down Johnny. Right, let's get that off the screen because it's in the way. Off you go. So it is Mr. Fry in orange. Why did I think you were going to be in purple? I don't know. Tell me later. I don't know. I'm maybe just getting confused. Which is not difficult for me, because confusion is something I'm pretty good at these days, because my head's a bit like fudged. Anyway, Johnny leads. Fry Diz in second place in the chocolate orange, and that's what it's going to be now anyway. For those of you that are old enough, you know what I mean by chocolate orange. And for those of you that are putting things in the old thread there, in the old chat, I can't see it on the screen I'm on. So apologies if I'm not repeating what you're putting, but it'll be there for prosperity for the guys to watch later. Anyway, let's jump back in here, where Melted Dazzer is still all over Angie's gearbox, even though that sounds totally wrong, but I can't think of any other way of putting it, because it'll just sound even worse. So we'll just stick with that. So he's having a go there, for want of better words, and Bruce is certainly having a go at Buzz, who's certainly catching up with the battle in front. With 2 minutes left, this could be pretty interesting. I hope. And we just hope everyone stays on track and it stays good, because they are all merging into one blob. That was a little bit of PlayStation lag by the look of it there. Either that or Melted Dazzer's car can just move like a UFO, which would be quite impressive if it can, because that's a skill that none of the rest of us possess, as far as I know. And there's a little battle going on at the back there as well. Oh, so Nico there, he must have had a couple of bad spins. I got one of them, mate. I didn't get your others. So anyway, let's just keep going down as we look at 10th, and we got NRP then in 9th. He's got himself a little bit of a gap, not a big one, but he's got a little one. I don't mean a little one, sorry. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? Anything I say sounds wrong. So anyway, Chrome Radix is there in 8th. We got Bruce there, who's really trying to bump into Buzz in a nice way. But he's, we're probably into, will this be last lap? Where's Johnny? Here's Johnny, said in a certain way. Not sure, will he get back over the finishing line before that? I mean, he can't really stall, because Mr. Fry is right up his gearbox as well. So this could be an interesting ending. Johnny's managed to pull away a little bit on the straight there, but I am going to look at this, because it is the lead and it is going to be the last lap. So hopefully what we can do is look at these guys, wait and see what happens in this, as Johnny struggles a bit there. I think Ben had a slightly better line going through there. in the chocolate orange. So we've got the Terry's All Gold leading from the chocolate orange. But it's not Terry, it's John. And it's Johnny. So Johnny's All Gold, Ben's chocolate orange. So that's perfect timing, really. Unless something bad happens on this. He's trying to make the best of it. He's managed to get that gap down, but it's not going to be enough. Johnny is going to take the checkered flag in our inaugural RKC race. So that's the top two. Let's get down. Blank takes third. Angie's just coming round for fourth, just about keeping off Melted Dazza in fifth. So pressure must have been on there. Everybody must have been sweating a bit. Buzz takes sixth. Bruce takes seventh. Chromedics takes eighth. NRP, there's a bit of a gap then to the back three, but we've got NRP, and I don't know whether he's going to be able to catch up here. It could be a toughie, but we can see. Anything is possible in this game. You never know. Yep, so that is Satis. Yeah, I thought, oh, and it won't go off the screen. So it's going to be NRP taking ninth. Satis is going to take 10th. And poor old Nico, bless his cotton socks and his nylon underpants. No, sorry, he wears satin underpants. He did tell me. Although sometimes he does go commando. But anyway, he's going to come in 11th. So unfortunately for me, oh dear, that's the grass. Thank you. That is now tarmac, so that will bring up this one, which was pretty good. It was quite interesting. It had its moments, didn't it? Some at the start, some towards the end. It was quite an interesting race. Buzz did well to keep off Bruce. I think Angie did really well to keep off Melted. She tried her best to keep off Blank, but he managed to sneak through in the end. But there's your top three. Johnny from Ben from Blank. That's your top three. They're your podium boys. Angie and Melted also get points in this race. The top five get points in this race. So it is a toughie. As the season goes on, your best guys will start at the back. So it's more of a challenge for them. They've got 15 minutes to get past somebody. Ben said he thought he had a Brian injury. I think he means a brain injury. You love me when you're watching this back, but you can have a Brian injury if you want. I mean, talking of Brian, there's Buzzing Hornet. He didn't have a Brian injury. Brilliant, awesome, never a dull race here. Yeah, turn one was definitely mad. It was interesting. I didn't have enough camera angles to get everybody, but we got some of it anyway. So anyway, that was race one, which is your sprint race out of the way. Obviously race two is reverse grid. So race one is championship reverse grid going forward, and race two will be reverse grid from race one. Or are we doing qualifying? Now I'm confused. It's not that difficult to confuse me actually, but I think we might have qualifying in this one. See, I told you my head's gone. I'm just completely and utterly confused, which is very, 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 very simple. So anyway, I'm just having a look at what everybody's got on there, and have we got everything showing on here? I just want to double check something and see that we are all happily running, and yay, we are. Where is that? That is featured live streams. That is not featured live streams. We don't want featured live streams. We want ours, don't we? We want ours. Where is it showing? I can't see it. It's on there somewhere. Just about where? That's the question. But I'm hoping it's on there somewhere. At the moment I just can't see it. So we want to see what's live on our own channel. What's live on here. So that's hopefully what we're going to see. And it should come up in a minute. Obviously you guys who are watching it on the stream will be watching it on the stream, and this time what I'm going to try and do is see if I can actually get it on onto mine as well. So I'm going to search for this, and I'm going to go in there. Yay, that's what we want. Happy days. So now that I've shown us live, and I'm going to turn that down because otherwise you get me on like loop, which you obviously don't want. And now I can see the chat because I've got it on there. I haven't got it on my stream per se, because it takes up too much of the screen, but I've got it on the YouTube channel, so now I can see what everybody put. So hopefully it was good. Hopefully you actually enjoyed it. So obviously Sandra will be able to get in. Hiya Jesper, hiya mate. Nice to see you. Nice. Hope it sounds okay. It was a bit of a rush to get in for that first one. It didn't exactly go to plan, but hey ho, we got there at the end. But hopefully we'll be a bit better prepared for the next one. I reckon you need to, for Sender there saying about his Wi-Fi router, get some Ethernet cables, mate, and get some TP links. Plug them into your sockets, and it uses your in-house electrics as basically hardwiring your Wi-Fi. It's stunning. It makes a hell of a difference, mate. And for 50 quid, they're well worth it. You might be able to get them cheaper on eBay, but they are epic. And if you don't like them, trust me, I'll pay for them myself. They are brilliant. You will like them. And in the meantime, during that race, my lovely wife brought me a cup of coffee. Isn't that nice? See, she doesn't forget about me. She keeps me. She's probably put some weed killer in it though. But hey ho. But yeah, Sandra, if that helps you, mate, if you want to message me after this, and I can tell you a bit more about it and try and help you in terms of how you can get that sorted. Right, I am just gonna see after that. Yeah, I think a few people, looking at some of the comments, some of the guys are saying in the Discord channel, saying it's easy to overdrive this car. It is. Tires are a pain in the you know where. As well, I think there's a few guys just asking. End of lap one like Mondays. Yeah. Hey, lap one's always the toughest. It doesn't matter where you are, and this I think, as much as it's not a really difficult turn for turn one, you've got like a dog leg left leading into it. I start to brake pretty much halfway into that dog leg because I tend to grade my braking. I don't do it all in one shot. I like to grade it so that I can try and hit on the apex of the main turn and get the throttle down just as I'm hitting that. Easier said than done, certainly in this car, because you get that wrong and you slide down the curb, you're probably going to do a pirouette, a triple Salco, and get 6 off the judges like Torbil and Dean, which is not the ideal scenario. So, like I say, I can see there, Run Kill Jesper has said get a long cable. That's exactly what I mean. You can either get that or you can get the TP link things. You can get like 25 meter Ethernet cables. It looks pretty ugly in your house, but if just for the sake of racing, then happily. Did I call it an RKC Radical? That's stunning. If I did, that's funny. Oh man, I know it's an RXC Radical, but if I did call it an RKC Radical, that's awesome. Oh man, that's funny. Oh, let's see. Will it do something on here? Say something, it says. So in the meantime, we're getting ready to load up for race 2, which obviously our feature race, which is a 30 second, Jesus. Did I really say a 30-second race? I did. You wouldn't get much out of a 30-second race, would you? Well, possibly, but not an awful lot. Oh man, I just can't get over the fact that I called it an RKC Radical. That's brilliant. I think it sounds better anyway, because we're KC, aren't we? So, hey, it fits, doesn't it? I feel like I'm part of the race. I feel like I'm part of the furniture, seriously. Probably an antique piece of furniture knowing my luck. But so anyway, we are ready for race 2, and I've completely forgot whether we're doing I think we are doing I know what the word is, I just can't say it. When loads of soldiers are marching down the street, it's a parade lap. Of course it is. So it will be a parade lap, and I think it's a reverse finishing positions from race 1. So I would imagine that Mr. Perez, who is in first, will be first again because he finished last. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've got a 50% chance of being right here, haven't I? Or wrong. One of the two. But obviously they've got their 2-minute countdown to decide exactly what it is they want to do. But in the meantime, I can do that, you see, because I get to retire and spectate. So I do that, so I'm not on the grid, because otherwise it'll confuse these poor creatures. and I can do that instead. So I can decide to go into Nico's car, or I can decide to go into anyone's car. I'll go into Bruce's because he's at the back of the grid. And he ain't going to move. Well, not for a bit anyway. And we're going to go trackside, because that's where you want to go. So that's interesting. It's about 7 seconds behind me. You've just killed some cones. You're a murderer. There's no need for that at all. Absolutely no need. That's just wanton vandalism, that, isn't it? I just saw a replay of that. That was premeditated. Dear me. The Cones Lives Matter movement are really going to be on your case. They are seriously going to be on your case. So anyway, we are racing in the newly called RKC Radical. It's an RXC Radical, but it's called an RKC Radical now, because I've just rechristened it, because it's ours and we're KC, so it must be an RKC Radical. Anyway, so what's going to happen, for those of you that know, I'm not going to tell you. I'm lying. Of course I'm going to tell you. As usual for one of these parade laps, we trundle around. It must be the finishing positions from the last race. I knew it was something like that, I just couldn't remember which one. I've slept since then anyway, so obviously we're in position from the last race. So your finishing positions there get you the position in these, and obviously people are trying feverishly, pathetically, to get some air, to get some heat into these tyres. You've absolutely got more chance of being able to build an igloo in hell. And I don't mean the rallycross track in Norway, by the way, but because you probably do all right there. So what Johnny's going to do, he's going to slow everybody down, because it's the best way that he can get a bit of a run on Ben and Blank. So he has gone. Let's get that. Let me jump back down and let's get our speedo back up. Let's get our map back up. Let's get back onto these dudes. So let's try and look our way through. I'm trying to spool all the way through the field a little bit if I can, and that's a really rubbish picture, isn't it? Let's see turn one. Has everybody managed to navigate it good? Yeah, they have. Oh no, Buzz, where? Buzz, Angie, Nico, somebody else. Everybody's gone. I'm trying to look at the replay bit. I can't really see it properly. So a little bit of a tete-a-tete there between 3 or 4 cars, or there's certainly some collateral damage involved in it. But we will see. We'll find out what goes on there. But the good thing is they've got 27 minutes left to remedy that one. So here's Johnny, having won in the first race. He's got himself a nice position into 2, and Blank's all over the back of Ben, and Melted Dazzer is just off the back of them. So at the moment we've got Chromedics there in 6th, Kevin 7th, so there is a little bit of a battle going up there. So I'll tell you what, let's jump into the first 4 for the moment. I'm going to have a look at these, because I think this is where the big battle is for the memento, and I'll see if we can change that view a little bit, because sometimes trackside is good, sometimes it's not. I want to have a look and see where we are if I'm chasing with Melted Dazzer. He still says he's closer than he is, really, my thing, but it's still a pretty good view coming into turn 1. You get a good view of the 3 guys in front too. So Johnny's managed to get himself away a little bit. He's just under a second of a gap between him and Ben, with Blank breathing down his neck. Melted trying gamely to hold on there. And we got Bruce there trying to close in on them to make them a gang of 5. Would that be the famous 5? 5 gone mad in Ruapuna? Could work, couldn't it? I just want to know who's Timmy the dog. I think it was Timmy the dog. Anyway, Chromedics there in 6th place, trying to gain in a little bit on Bruce, so he's getting the hang of these cars. In the meantime, we'll just jump back up a sec, because we're within a second at the moment. In fact, both these 3 are pulling away a little bit from Melted. He's lost a little bit of ground. So we'll have a look at these 3 just for the moment, as Bruce is closing in a little bit, but we'll stay with these 3 for the moment, because these are your leaders, and it's as good a battle that's going on anyway. Although Chromedics is gaining a bit on Bruce. I think that was coming into the corners, wasn't it, under braking, rather than being that close. But Sorry for the guys who are out of the top 6 for the moment, but this is where the action is, as certain directors might say. So Johnny's got 63 litres of fuel. I always think it's interesting to see what people are carrying. Are they all playing pretty much the same? 62, 63? Yeah, it's pretty much as you were, isn't it? In the meantime, I'm going to stay it. Because this is where it gets all close. If you can get really good braking into there and get good traction coming out of it, then that can be quite good. Shall I have a look at... Oh, he's Blank is going to put Ben under some serious pressure here. I can feel that. I don't think he'll try and go for anything silly, but I think the ideal thing is just sit there on his gearbox, sit there behind him, hopefully put him under a little bit of pressure, get the person in front to make a mistake, whether it's getting your braking slightly wrong, anything that gives you an idea that you can just sort of get a sneaky one in and get up alongside and get the inside line on the next corner, and hey presto, you've done the deed. But in the meantime, let's just see that, because at times it can be a bit misleading. There's a bit of a slip there from Johnny, I think, coming out of there, which gave Ben a little bit of chance to get closer, because he's within half a second. This will be interesting. Blank's lost a little bit of ground coming out of that corner, not a lot, but enough. Just interesting to see the braking coming in here. Oh, Johnny took it quite narrow. That might give Ben another chance. Might get to gain a little bit. Blank gained a bit as well onto that, so let's jump back there as well to see these three. I know there's some battles going on elsewhere, but for the moment this is the place to be, I think, for the top 3. Buzz is... Oh, no, was that a touch? Was that a touch? I'm trying to look on the replay. I don't know if there was a touch there between... Yeah, there is. There's a touch there between Johnny and Ben, and I think Johnny lost it a bit, catches the curb, comes over to one side, and obviously Ben's already taken his line around that corner. He can't move really, and there's... Ben comes off worse off out of that. I don't know whether anyone's carrying any damage. This thing doesn't tell me. I wish it did. It'd be really helpful, but hopefully not, because he's still there. I mean, I know it's a difficult one to say. I mean, me personally, I'd like to think if I did that, I'd give the position. I'm not sure. That's a tough one really, because Johnny was in front anyway. But it is tough. It was a bit tough on Ben because he ended up losing a place out of it through no fault of his own. A bit of collateral damage, unfortunately. But he's still in the race. He's still there. The three of them are still well into a battle here with 22 minutes to go. I keep wanting to go and flick and look at some of the others. As Blank takes a look, he does have a look, because he knows that Johnny is susceptible to a little bit of pressure, because that's exactly the turn where it went a bit Pete Tong for him last time. He needs to try and hold the line as Blank just sits there and does the time on the thing. Just sit. I think Ben will be hoping that Johnny holds Blank up a bit and brings him back into the equation a little bit better, because those two might slipstream each other and pull away from him. But Blank's certainly putting the pressure on, and he's just going to sit there and hope he can get an inside line off Johnny, especially if Johnny gets a little bit of a wiggle. But here you go. This is where he's going to try it, I think. He might try and outbrake him here. He's lost a bit of traction on the back, but he's getting that around. I think he's got more coming out of that corner. I think he might get... I thought he might have got a chance to get a pass here, because he came out well out of that corner. They lost Ben a little bit by a couple of tenths. But I'll stay here with these two for the moment, because I just think that there's... I think Johnny will do well to hold Blank off from here, because he's gone wide. Blank stayed on the track, went off a little bit, but he's got more traction. But I don't think he'll be able to go into this corner. But if he gets better traction coming off it, he might get a chance to come and look in. Let's have a look. We'll certainly have a look. You want to have a look at Buzz, don't you, Cole? Let's see what's going on. Nice to see you with us, mate. Anyway. So, these boys, like I say, that's a pretty good battle all the way through. Buzz has made his way back up to 8th. Having been involved in the original sort of tete-a-tete at the beginning, which I'm not sure exactly what happened, but something did. And even looking at the replay, I still don't get to see it proper. But Anyway, let's go all the way. I say all the way, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? So lovely car there, nice colour on it. We got NRP into 11th. I think that's Satis there in 12th. Nico's in 10th in a nice sort of black thing with blue on it, very fetching. There's Angie, who's currently at 9th again. I think she got caught in that collateral damage at the beginning, which involved about 4 cars, but again, she might well gain a few places. There's plenty of time to go, 2/3 of the race left. Here's Mr. Hornet getting his sting out as usual. Again, I believe he got caught up in that. I don't know who instigated that, who spun, but in the meantime, Blank managed to overtake Johnny. So, and it looks like Ben's going to take him as well. That's tight, that's tight. He's made it stick though, he's made it stick. Sorry Blank, I missed you taking first place, mate. I watched you for ages, you didn't do it, and then I go away from you and you do it. Oh, Johnny under pressure. These cars are brilliant, mind. They're a riot to drive, but the rear end, especially with the tyres not exactly at optimum temp, they're a bit like driving in like the ice rink. It's quite good fun. You're better off with ice tyres on these things, I think. It's like the, what is it, Sampala ice circuit? Sampala? I was going to say Wampa then, but that was Star Wars, wasn't it? Where the hell did that come from? The Wampa ice creature. Yeah, I remember. Anyway, we digress. So let's have a gander. This is Kev in 7th, who's trying to get up behind Melted Daz's gearbox, who's up behind Chromedix's gearbox. And then there's a little bit of a gap between him and Bruce. In the meantime, Buzz is trying to narrow that gap down a little bit into Kev. Again, 18 minutes left. There's a lot that can happen in 18 minutes. Ask my wife. In fact, actually, don't ask my wife. She'll embarrass me. That's the thing about being married. They can embarrass you. Anyway, let's have a little flick through, everybody, because we can. That's a very nice wall, isn't it? Aren't some of these angles brilliant? Yeah, I've just looked at a very nice wall in New Zealand. There. You get educated here as well, you see. It's not just a race. You don't just get that. You get educated. And like I said before, is there anywhere in the world called Zealand? Because if this is New Zealand, what was Old Zealand? I want to know. If anyone knows, stick it in the chat. Google it. It's probably a load of rubbish. So, Kev, Buzz, he's catching up. But not quite enough. Right, NRP's gone into the pits. Where he'll probably find my car, because I'm sat in there doing not very much, because I'm lazy, and that's what I do. So, here we go. So, here comes Mr. Hornet, up to Kev. Melted is getting pretty close behind Chromedix there. The top three are still having a fine old ding-dong, for want of better words. So we'll jump our way up there again for a second, and we might come back. No, I don't think he's going to catch him there, is he? So, Johnny in 3rd, losing a little bit of ground on the front too, depending where you are on the circuit. Mr. Fry there in 2nd, trying to get some leeway onto Blank File there. To be able to get anywhere, really, you need to get inside like 0.3 of a second, don't you, to try and get some drag off him as well. And put him under some pressure, otherwise he'll just settle into his nice little metronome and just toddle his way around. Nice and comfy without being too overly stressed out. And he's the quickest man on the track at the moment, Blank. So with, I think the top positions are pretty much running. Kev has done a 1:21.9, so from 7th place he's the 4th fastest guy on the field. So he's not doing bad there if you look at current laps. So we're kind of running pretty much to form at the minute if you're looking at most of those, because everyone's pretty much doing as you were. So let's go back and have a little look. Obviously Blank's fastest lap was 1:20.7. He also did fastest sectors, which is not surprising. If you do a fastest lap, chances are you might have done a fast sector. In the meantime, meanwhile, back at the ranch, as they used to say in a program called Dallas, in the 70s, way before your time. Unfortunately, not way before mine. So we're looking at Mr. Fry, who's in the chocolate orange, chasing against Well, he's managed to get past Johnny's all gold. We're going to make some chocolates out of this, aren't we? Yeah, all yours, hi. Ah, dear. Yep, so I've lost my thread now. Yeah, so we've now got the it's more like a gone off banana, isn't it, that Blank's in, because it's like yellow with a bit of orange and like black, so it's kind of like a banana that's been left in the supermarket for a while. We're going to call him the banana split. He's in the banana split, and everyone in the background can go tra la 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 la. Google it, you know what I mean. Anyway, so the banana split is leading from Terry's chocolate orange, which now belongs to not Terry, it belongs to Ben. And then Johnny is in Terry's old gold, because that was Terry's as well, but that's not his either. Terry's really greedy, isn't he? He's got too much stuff. In the meantime, we've got a little battle going on here. Melted's managed to gain a little bit on Chromedics. I know Chromedics was having a bit of trouble in race 1 in trying to keep this thing stable, which I think you can probably say everybody's done that, because it's quite demanding. It's a fun drive, mind. It's a bit of a riot to drive. What was that all about? That was a bit weird. I'm going to watch that again. Was that just PlayStation looking like... Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's good old PlayStation lag, that, isn't it? You're going on the grass and then all of a sudden you make an absolute 90-degree turn like a UFO, and all of a sudden you're going in the right way. That is brilliant. Fair play. Either that or he's an alien. One of the two. Which one is it, Melted Dazzy? You'll have to tell us, mate. Otherwise they'll take you off to like Area 51 and you'll never be seen again. So... let's have a run through everybody at this point in the race, because we're just past halfway, and just past halfway is Blank File in the banana split, leading from Mr. Fry, who is in the Fry's chocolate orange. Yes, it's Fry's chocolate orange. Of course it is. But it's not Fry's Turkish Delight, but it's Fry's chocolate orange. It is now. I know Terry's make it, but shut up, it's Fry's. In third place is Johnny's all gold. In fourth place is Bruce's silver bullet. Fifth place is Chromedics. I'm not sure what that is actually, but it's red and white, isn't it? It's sort of like strawberries and cream. It is. It's strawberries and cream. Now I'm really up the junction. It's blue. It's a blue Caraco. I know it's not an ice cream, but it is now. It's a blue Caraco with ice cream in it. And that is the sixth one. But that's a good little battle going on there between Melted and Chromedics. So we'll give them a little bit of airtime, boys. Let's see what's going on in there. It could be a blue Hawaiian as well, couldn't it? Or maybe it's a slush puppy. Yeah, slush puppy sounds good. So we've got strawberries and cream chased by a blueberry slush puppy. Oh! I think that was a... Was that a bump? That definitely looked a bump from here. That certainly looked a bump. Yeah, it was. It was definitely a bump. Oh dear. And that was definitely a bit of track cut in there. As we see some tyres going everywhere. And Chromedics is struggling there. And flashing. You're not allowed to do that in public. Certainly not in New Zealand. But personally, if that was me, if I bumped him like that, I'd have probably backed off a bit. If he did, fair enough. If he didn't, shame on you. Should have backed off a bit. Unless it didn't happen and it was lag, but it's on here. But this is PlayStation, so God only knows. Anyway, we're staying here with these guys, because at the moment this is the battle. And wherever the battle is, as I call it. And that's where we're going to be. We're hoping to take you where the action is going down. Yeah. So, in this lockdown era, when we're all sat inside praying for sport on TV, instead you go to YouTube and you watch this and you listen to me, Motormouth, because... where are you going? What was that about? Was that sort of seriously super weirdly laggy as I watched that again? Yeah, that was super weirdly laggy. I don't know what it's like on track, but that's super weirdly laggy from here. But anyway, I thought maybe his controller had broke or something like that and he was just going in a straight line, but that was really weird. So I hope that doesn't affect either him or anyone else on track too much, because that could be really, really off-putting. So maybe that was what happened with him and Melted originally. That's... wow, that's... yeah, you've got some serious lag going on there, Mr. Dazza, unfortunately for you. So I'm reckoning that might be why he he gave Chromatics a bit of a thump, so I will give you the benefit of the doubt on that one, judging by what's just happened there, because that was sort of well weird. I hope it's not the case. We've lost NRP. I don't know whether that was because the race wasn't going very well or because something happened, but it says disconnected, so I'm tempted to think that that was of his own accord. If it was, sorry you had a bad race, mate. Hopefully good times around the corner, literally. So we're staying here with these two because it's the battle royale at the moment on this circuit, as they are battling away with each other. And if I can press the right button, we can do this. We can get in here, and this is how it looks from Daz's point of view, as he slides and slips his way around trying to chase Mr. Medics. And I think in the meantime, as these two are battling around, I don't know whether Kev's gaining on them a little bit, because these two are battling each other. And of course these two are battling each other, and we're getting closer to... That's not... Is that Bruce? Yeah, it is. No, it's not. I'm lying. It's not. It's somebody who's been lapped, so I'm guessing it is. It's... That's okay. That's fair enough. I was getting confused then, which is not difficult. So that's okay. Let's them both past. It's great on a... that it happens on a straight, so it doesn't compromise even the guy being lapped or everybody else, because contrary to popular belief, the somebody being lapped will try and obviously observe the blue flags, but they can't just disappear, can they? I think some people think they can just go puff. Yep, you can mimic that if you want, but they disappear in a puff of smoke. But yeah, there's some serious interesting trajectories being taken at the moment as we are sitting on board. Wow, that was... I've got to watch that again. I get that 8 seconds behind on a replay. That's just like... That was like I just stopped in a pot of glue. That is impressive. If you can really do that, by the way, Mr. Dazza, I want to know how you do that, mate. It's it's just weird to look at. It's just like watching, I don't know, there used to be a program back in the day called Automan. Oh, sugar in a bowl. I did nearly swear then. You can't take that. In truth, I'm glad he didn't pass at that point. I'm really, really glad he didn't pass, because that would have been a bit rotten, I think. I don't know whether that is lag or whether he did actually hit him there, because he did seem to back off, didn't he? Yeah, he is. He's got to be doing, hasn't he, Jesp? It's not so good. He needs to get some Ethernet cables, a couple of TP links, or at least one Ethernet cable, one TP link, plug it into your nearest plug socket, and stick that cable into both. I don't think that's lag. I think that's just, oops, oh dear, something bad has just happened. So anyway, that battle is now not happening anymore. In the meantime, since we've been watching that, Mr. Fry took the lead. He took the lead from Blank, who's 4 seconds behind, so apologies, Mr. Fry, but I think my little thing in the top didn't tell me that you guys were really close to each other. It didn't say that you were close, so I'm just wondering if Blank spun, or span, or spin, or whatever. It's one of them words anyway. SP and N are involved. You can use whichever one of the rest you want, which surprises me with Blank actually, but I think he's obviously caught a curb or something like that, which gives Mr. Fry the lead. And he's got 4 and a bit seconds with 6 minutes to go, so basically don't push it too much. So here we go. Fry's chocolate orange could be his New Zealand delight. No, that doesn't even go, does it? Doesn't matter, I don't care, I've said it now. From Banana Split, from Blank Files Banana Split, that goes. From Johnny's All Gold in third, and Bruce's Silver Bullet, which isn't really a sweet in the same vein as everything else was, but it's silver, so I don't know what else it could be. So it's his Silver Bullet. And then we've got Chromatics in his Strawberries and Cream, followed by Melted Dazza in his Blue Slush Puppy. It's a blueberry slush puppy, followed by Kev. It's red. It's got to be a strawberry, hasn't it? It just has to be a strawberry. Or could it be a Raspberry Ripple? As he's gaining, or he was gaining. Sorry, mate, I've just given you the kiss of death, haven't I? Just for a change. So he was gaining, but since I started watching him, he isn't. So his Raspberry Ripple has just melted a bit. But that's Dazza really, who's in front. His Blueberry could possibly melt a bit as he's catching up on Bruce's Silver Bullet there. So we could get something before the end of this race. Everyone's a little bit spread. Oh, there's more spread here than you get from a dockside hooker. And for those of you that don't know what a dockside hooker is, I'm not even going to bother telling you, because you shouldn't know anyway. I know what a hooker is, I just don't know what a dockside is. Anyway, into 11th place. And like I say, these cars are an interesting drive. These cars really are an interesting drive, so try it one time. Yep, Johnny is certainly into P2, past Blank. What's happening? What's happening to Blank? Because before, Johnny was the one under pressure. Johnny was under pressure early doors from both Blank and Ben. But now he seems to have got his mojo back, or his Blank starting to struggle on his tyres. I mean, again, I can't tell tyre pressures, but if you're looking at the little icon in my top right, then you can see that Blank's front left is struggling a bit. So I think he's really struggling for traction in these corners, and I think that's certainly proven by the way he's going into these corners. And you can see he's got a bit more wiggle going on, and I don't think it's his dance moves. Because Johnny's managing to get away from him a bit here, and obviously Ben's getting away from the two of them. So looking at the tyres, I'm going to have a look at people's tyres. See, Johnny's tyres look okay. Compare them in the top right corner if you get the chance. Compare them to Blank's. Brank. I've changed his name now. Brank. Never mind. You've been called worse, haven't you, Steph? Never mind, mate. But in the meantime, as I say, his tyres are looking far worse than Johnny's were. Johnny's are looking, okay, a little bit lighter green on the left-hand side, if you can make the colour out. Wow. Ben's are all... Ben's tyres are... 3 of his tyres are looking slightly lighter green. But he's holding it, so it's working for him. But look how spread these are. Blank's, it's going for Blank. His tyres are done. Because Bruce has got past him. He's really, really struggling. I think Chromedics is going to get him as well. He's really, really struggling this time round. It's just, I think he's skating on ice. He really is skating on ice, isn't he? Oh, that's a sickener. I'd be gutted. I can only say it from my own perspective. I really would be gutted from that. Right, let's get back into here. This is where I was trying to find. Yeah, see. So you got Blank there, you got Chromedics just a couple of seconds down on him. Melter Dazza's a couple off him. Kev's a couple off him. Buzz is 8 off him. So there's a little bit of a gap there, which I don't think Buzz will be able to bring back. Angie, again, I think the back four just consolidated themselves. It didn't really help them the way that things panned out at turn 1 by the look of it. But it looks like Mr. Fry's going to take a 2 and a 1 out of the first weekend, which is obviously pretty damn good. And I think that's going to be the same for Johnny there. For Johnny there, and my wife just had to go into a mess.
Trying to put this chicken out.
Chicken! Yay! Everyone likes a bit of cock.
Right.
Nothing like chicken. It's all good.
Come on then, I know.
And that's a whinging Savannah, if you wondered what that was. But Blank has managed to find a little bit of mojo back. He's trying to get back at Bruce.
Oh my God.
Trying to get himself back onto a podium. And in the meantime, we're being overrun with Savannah kittens. They are invading the world. Forget coronavirus. Savannah kittens are taking over the universe. Yeah. I did hear about that. So yeah, I think redemption's probably a good way of putting it. In truth, he's had a good night tonight. Considering he was asleep earlier, I don't think he woke up until not that long before the race. I'm sure he'll. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe a power nap is a good idea as we go into what will undoubtedly be the last lap. So I'm just going to look back here. I've got Melter catching on there. How far behind Bruce is Blank here? He's got to try, but then again, do you risk Do you risk going all balls to the wall to try and get third, and then either get third or balloon it and lose and end up sixth? Because the two boys behind him, if he does go balls to the wall, which he's going to do, oh no, he's got past, but that's got to be a push. Surely that's a push. That's a shunt. Yeah, that's a shunt. Yep, I got kittens. I got 26 cats, mate. 26 cats. Jesus, never thought I'd say that. But yeah, that's so. Blank's in third, Bruce is in fourth. But I think that's one for the stewards. I think that's one for the stewards. Sorry, Blank, mate, but I really seriously think that's a steward's one. Good on you for getting back there, but yeah, 26 cats and 2 dogs. I have a bulldog, a tri-male English bulldog, and a pink pug. So, lap 23, the end of the race, as Mr. Fry in the chocolate orange wins from Johnny in the Johnny's All Gold. From Blank File, subject to steward's inquiry on that one. I think Bruce is going to slap him now. Told you. Blank File in the banana split from Bruce's Silver Bullet. From Chromedics' Strawberries and Cream, which is just spilt all over the turf, is melted. And Kev. And they're all sort of going to crash into each other, which is great, because if licenses are on, they're going to go down. Buzz takes 8th. Angie takes 9th, Nico takes 10th, Satis takes 11th, and everybody else just like dies. No, none of them are called Jesus, Cole. There's lots of other names, mate, but none of them are called Jesus. What I will say, with that many cats, it's just basically it's wall-to-wall pussy in my house. I'll probably only get away with saying that once. I know we passed the 9 o'clock watershed. Fuck me, yeah we are. It's 9:10, so I can swear to my heart's desire now, can't I? Anyway, so that was the end of the feature race. Feature in lots of different ways. Again, something happened early doors. Not sure what. We're now sat in the pits looking like great. Yay, that's what I wanted to see. So, Mr. Fridays, 120.9 was... Blank was still the fastest lap, I think. 20.7. But again, a lot of faster times on that one. But, so, Mr. Fry takes the win. Johnny B in second, podium subject to stewards for the banana split in third for Blank File, Bruce Law fourth, Chromedics a creditable fifth, Melted Dazzer in sixth, Kev in seventh, Buzz in eighth, Angie 9, Nico 10, Satis 11, and me, because I retired because I sat in the pits because I've been talking to you lot for the past hour and a bit. What do you think I've been doing? Anyway, I need to buy a commode because I'm dying for a pee, but that's another thing. That's something you get when you get to my age. Can't hold it like I used to. So anyway, that was week 1, race 1 and 2 of our RXC Championship, which I've rechristened the RKC Championship because it's an RKC. I hope you enjoyed what you watched. If you didn't, sod off. If you did, then obviously I've been Motormouth. This is Kerb Clippers, otherwise known as KC, and I did put it as RKC. I've just seen the title. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you had some good fun. It was a riot. Look, I haven't got a wheel, so I can't race, so this is the next best thing. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you guys in the chat, or if you're not in the chat, come and race instead. Have a laugh, or let me have a laugh at you. Until next time, stay safe, keep 2 meters apart, especially if they've got bad breath, and we'll see you soon. Good night.